Good morning. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. On this beautiful Wednesday, I am going to bring a reading of the week. See what the energy is this week. It's been a very beautiful, calm, peaceful week thus far. I thought that I would come and just take a look at the energy that maybe there's something Spirit wants us to know today. Open up and see what that might be. I felt called to my Isis Oracle. I've yet to be able to match this with my Sacred Feminine deck. And so Isis Oracle with Sacred Feminine Tarot deck, both of them have very heavy, deep, spiritual, feminine energy. And as we know, feminine energy is not just talking about the woman, right? It is an energy that we all carry, and it is an energy that is very much necessary for balance. And so there's a lot that the feminine energy provides that's necessary for us to maintain a balanced life and a successful, right, life as well. And so I thought I would see what comes out here. I also have my clarity deck for clarifications. And so I hope you guys are well. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. My name is Leticia, and the channel, of course, if you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you've yet to do that and you feel led to do that. If you are subscribing for the first time and you want to be notified whenever new readings are posted, you can hit the bell, and that will give you notifications whenever a new content is posted to this channel. And so there's a plethora of things on this channel that's here for your knowledge, your education, your awakening. Hopefully you find what you're looking for, basically, is what I'm saying. So all right, let's get started. I'm going to start with the Oracle, Isis, and see what is it that we need to know. The energy this week, what do we need to know? Any special messaging for my viewer? I'm going to manifest that whoever needs to see this will tap on or run across the video, okay? The energies highlighted for this week that are relevance. We want relevance, not irrelevance. Let's see. I hope you guys are well. I hope the week has gotten off to a good start for you as well. It has for me. Today marks not only the first of the month where we get a chance to, I feel like the way we start a thing is often the most important, because sometimes that will determine how we end a thing as well. Ooh, lots of cards came out here. Spirit has a lot to say. Okay. And so I hope not only have your week gotten off to a good start, but as we enter into the month of July, I hope things are getting off to a good start for you, and you are setting up for a successful month. All right, and so I got 5 oracle cards that came out. The first was Pillar of Light, Talisman of Potency, Life Restored, Miracle of Isis, and Portal of Light. Okay. So when we look at the Pillar of Light, this is the first card that came out. This is talking about descent of the star of Isis. And it's really pointing to being, possibly pointing to those that identify with or would consider themselves like beings of light, and who are very much acknowledging and connected to their own divinity. They are being called right now. If that's you, you are being called right now. You may wish to connect more strongly and be guided by the light. Maybe you're asking to have your energy strengthened right now, your energy field, and allowing more light to flow through you and express through you as well. So whoever you are, if you are identifying with this energy, the descent of the star of Isis, or just as a being of light, or very much tapped into your divinity, maybe you are being called, you feel you've been receiving messages about being more open and allowing divine energy to flow through you or to be illuminated through you. For those of you that understand what your light body is, you may also be wanting to allow this to happen so that more love and healing through those cosmic energies can, come down through you, descend through you. That's the name of this card, Descent of the Star of Isis, allowing those energies to come through you. In essence, allowing you to offer healing to those around you, assistance to those who you are in connection with or who you will connect with, or just humanity in general. This may also talk about, it's a very fiery looking card, setting your heart or your soul on fire with divine love and passion as well. So this might be a time where you are just full of not only light, but full of love, full of passion, full of fire. Your energy body, your light body is illuminated right now. And with that comes a higher capacity for healing and love. You are probably in a position right now, if you are identifying with this energy, to really, really be used by the divine. Yeah. Whatever is being passed through you is absolutely purposeful. So you may even be being asked to connect, right, with others so that that energy can be passed through and affect those around you. Yeah, you could be someone who is really into your energy body. Maybe you identify with the chakra system from, the root all the way up to the crown. That's kind of like the way that I'm seeing this light flowing through your body. But from the crown down to the soles of your feet. And through that, there's a purpose for that energy pouring out in grace. That light and that healing power is like a river flowing through the earth, right? Through your chakras, blessing your earth body. So you may be being asked to position yourself to allow this to take place, to rest in quiet places, close your eyes, enter into a deep state of meditation. I also have another light card. The Portal of Light is the second light card. So I'm going to go straight over to that because I feel like that is in connection with this card. And she glides on wings through time and space. So when we talk about portals, we're talking about phenomenons, right? We're talking about things like timelines. We're talking about dimensions. We're talking about gateways. Things like that have to do with time and space and maybe the manipulation or the perception of that. And when we look at physical reality, we're looking at being bound by these things and the physical reality being bound by time and space. But there's something about being on a conscious level beyond the physical reality, beyond the physical world. You could be being guided to work with your healing powers through the pillar of light. We just talked about that. Beyond the physical world, beyond time and space, and to allow yourself to expand in that way. I feel like Spirit wants you to know that it's safe to do that now. And sometimes this requires a great level of grounding. Because sometimes if we're not careful and if we don't do this in a balanced way, it could cause us to become ungrounded. But for some reason, Spirit is saying for you, it's safe to do that. You won't become ungrounded through this kind of spiritual growth, okay? And you're not leaving your earthly awareness, you're adding to it, you're expanding. And so for whoever you are, not only are you allowing this power to pass through you, this energy, this light energy through your energy body, you're also expanding. You're growing in power. You're growing in awareness. There's some type of breakthrough that you may have just had where it brought clarity, more clarity to who you are. The fact that you are not just an ordinary person. I don't think any of us are, if we are really honest about it. It just depends on how you are willing to tap in consciously, right? Because the way we look in the physical may be very, it's really a consequence, which can be good or bad. The way we present in the physical is a consequence of what it is in the spiritual. right? And so sometimes when we are not willing to open up to that conscious space, we are limited. But there's something about you having realized something. There's some breakthrough insights that you've realized that has opened you up to the fact that you are much greater. You're a vaster being. This could have been very shocking, very uncomfortable, and very difficult to grasp and to accept. There may be times where this information or this energy will come in and it's very comforting and it will make a lot of sense to you. Sometimes it won't. But there's something about leaning in to integrate the awareness of what you are in a greater sense, not just the physical, right? This is a portal of light that's opening up the conscious reality to you of who you are in the spiritual realm. There's something about understanding again, that word is coming up, consequence, which can be good or bad. The consequence of doing right now are extraordinary. And there's something about you being called to live with less and less fear and insecurity, to become more detached and more passionate, okay? To exchange this grasp to the physical world, to becoming more acquainted with the spiritual part of you, more passionately, more lovingly, less demanding, right? But being open, needing less and receiving more, allowing yourself to feel more joy and even exert less force to feel it, right? There's so many wonderful gifts I feel like Spirit is waiting to reveal to you. And this does go back to exerting a very healing influence, again, beyond time and space. There's something about you being able to heal and free yourself as well as others too. That's if you are open and willing to tap in this way and share your healing gifts. This is going to enable you to learn to create healing and release yourself from trauma, from attachments, and from the past, history, and any other situation that may try to drain the life force out of you and distract you from divine love that's available to you. And we're not talking about time and space. Again, this could be here, current. This could also be in other lifetimes as well. And so you're being guided to this portal of light, okay? I'm also seeing talisman of potency. And this is all about tapping in and charging sacred objects of power. It's very interesting how Spirit will prepare me for these messages. Spirit was just talking to me about utilizing the spiritual tools more. Even while we're sleeping, like we can utilize these spiritual tools, things like crystals, which is just basically grounding earth energy, water, you know, how water carries this very strong capacity to vibrate at a certain frequency and invite certain energy, right? And so this is all about charging sacred objects of power, sacred tools and objects, right? Become an extension of our energy field. There's something about Spirit talking about, and you may already know what this is. It doesn't have to be crystals. I just use that as an example. Whatever your spiritual tools are, there's something about Spirit pointing to that right now and allowing that to, or understanding that that is an extension of your energy field. And that allows you to focus your power and your intention, tapping into you being able to heal this break or this split between the spirit and physical, between spirit and matter. And also helping you to understand and learn how to manifest, how to bring physical matter more deeply into the light and to life, right? So there's something about you working with sacred materials, whatever that is for you, in a very intentional and conscious way to help with your own healing, right? We talked about the light, which is very ethereal, but we're talking about something more practical now in the physical that could be of assistance with this process that Spirit is talking about today. working with practical tools in a very conscious way to help bring in this healing and enjoyment into our material world as part of our spiritual practice. So we could be talking about however you see that. I don't want to give any idea, or I don't want to minimize the tools that may be available, right? Whatever you use for your spiritual practice in a physical sense, that's what Spirit is talking about. It's talking about charging those things. Yeah. And so when we talk about charging, we're talking about cleansing. This may be a time Spirit may be asking you to get your tools and cleanse them and charge them. Today is the first day. And isn't this a new moon, if I'm not mistaken? However you charge, some people will sit their tools out under the moon. Some people will sit it out under the sun to get it charged and to cleanse it. Some people will smudge it. Some people will, allow it to sit on natural earth. So however you do that, Spirit is bringing that to your attention, that there is a need for a cleanse and a charge of your sacred objects to empower your energy field to accomplish your spiritual mission right now, whatever that is. And I do feel like Spirit is either calling you to this or upping the ante of your spiritual mission, right? For some of you, you could have a wand, and for some of you, your word is your wand. So how can you cleanse, right? These are things to think about. How can you cleanse your voice, your word, your speaking? We could be talking about the throat chakra, maybe doing energy balances in that chakra. For some of you, it could be like a cup, a chalice, or a sword. It could be a bowl that you use and you put water in it, or some type of special tile with an image that you love. It could be a statue, a cloth, or some beautiful design. It could be a crystal. We talked about crystals, or some people use mirror. It could be a rock, a shell, a feather, right? Something you found or something you will find. I'm hearing too, that's waiting for you to find it. I'm hearing a plant as well. You could be out in nature and you come across something that's calling you to pick it up and carry it home. And if you do end up finding this type of gift in nature, make sure that you ask, for divine guidance for that item in question, how it's intended for your healing work. And if you get the definite answer that it is, then receive it with gratitude, bless it, cleanse it, right? And consecrate it to your work, okay? I also have life restored as well. And interestingly, I've always had a very interesting drawing to beetles, scarlet beetles. I don't know what type of beetle this is, but it definitely looks like one. They seem to always be attracted to me for some reason. Every time I go to the park, actually where I'm from, I haven't seen any here, but where I'm from, they would always meet me there. But this is all about the priestess of Phoenix. And life restored, of course, we're talking about some type of resurrection, or the phoenix, rising from the fire again. But we're looking at spiritual resurrection, being revived spiritually is really a gift to you right now. I feel like Spirit is saying whatever part of your life that you thought was dead and done and, will never, ever be experienced again. Spirit is saying that's a lie. You will experience that part of light again. Matter of fact, it's being revived right now and flourished back into life. Just as the phoenix rises from the fire again and again, more passionate, more strong, more wise, with more capacity to rise higher, right? There's some transitioning of something, some part of your life that's being resurrected to life again. In that way, Spirit could also be letting you know that you are purposed to rise again too, right? It is said that a strong man falls 7 times and rise 8, right? And rises stronger, rises healed, rises renewed. And so there's something about restoring life, right? After trauma, after a certain ending, after a struggle or some type of defeat. That's not the end. Many times that is just the beginning of a new story. that you are about to experience. Sometimes what looks like an ending can sometimes just simply be these forces that are surrounding you, flowing you towards the new path, pulling energy away from old forms so that they can be transformed into new forms, right? This can take a long time, right? It could be 10, 15 years. It could be in a couple of days. There's no time, no set time on these types of spiritual resurrections, right? And it doesn't matter how long something appears to be decaying or dying or just becoming very unalive. Like it can at any time. Spirit is saying this. You could have been seeing this thing dead for 20 years. That thing can spring back to life in a matter of moments at the right time. Something is springing back to life for someone. Spirit is saying it's not over until I say it's over. Okay, that's for somebody. Lastly, we have Miracle of Isis coming out here. And I love this card. This is one of my favorites. In the picture, we have Isis riding on the back of Dionysus, I want to say. Is that Dionysus? I believe it is. So when we look at Isis, Isis was actually known to be a very talented practitioner of healing arts, right? And she was capable of these very elaborate, miraculous healings. And so this could be just offering for you, my love bugs. For you, she offers a miracle of healing, whatever that is. What type of healing do you need right now? It could be physical in your body. It could be emotional. It could be spiritual. What type of healing do you need? Because she's offering it here. No matter how much you've struggled with a particular matter, no matter how impossible it may seem to imagine your life without this thing. Maybe you've lived with this affliction for many, many, many years, maybe decades. I feel like this brings in the energy. Spirit is basically saying, again, like life restored, it doesn't matter the time. We've been talking about time being perceived in a different way, right? These portals of light and pillars of light, these things surpass time and space. And then we get to the miracle of Isis, right? There's something available in this moment, in this message. Spirit is letting you know that it's present right now in this time and space. If you're willing to tap into it, for some of you, you are the vessel that this energy of healing is passing through. And for others, you are the recipient of this healing. It could be wounds, addictions, some type of problem. It could be relationship issues, inner struggles. You're being guided to really open up and accept the possibility of miraculous healing, right? There's something about a heavy load and the fact that it's too heavy for you to contain it or to deal with it on your own. But the thing is, even when it comes to healing, like no one can make you accept the healing. You have to be willing to give up that thing that is weighing you down. You have to be willing to release it. And when we talk about healing, we're talking about giving over the burden in exchange for trust, letting go of attachment to a certain outcome, and being open to different ways that thing could be achieved outside of what you're able to imagine or what you expect, right? There's something about opening up to the divine genius of healing, right? That is just seeking to express this perfection of divine love through us right now. It's looking for an opportunity to express. And I know it's hard, especially when we've been dealing with long time afflictions, with long time struggles, with long time situations that have just for many, it may have become a part of who you are. Have you ever met somebody who their struggle is not what they're denouncing, but it becomes a part that they become proud of, the struggle, right? But there's something about releasing that, being willing to release that in exchange for the healing. Yeah. And so that's what I'm getting. That is beautiful. I'm going to pull some tarot to see what message Spirit has above and beyond. So the first cards that come out is the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. The Ace of Pentacles and Four of Wands. A new beginning. Pentacles many times talks about the physical aspect. And so there's something celebrated. We're coming into a point where we're going to be able to celebrate a new beginning, a new way of living, a new existence. With the Four of Wands, we're talking about setting up this, and I'm imagining somebody just creating a corner in your home. You know how this is your place where you go for your quiet time. Like it could be a nice little comfortable chair with all of your favorite books. It's like a nook, right? With maybe a little setup with a little table, a little light, a lamp, maybe a little blanket over the back of the chair. Like everything that you would need when you get ready to go and allow yourself to just release and to relax, right? This is the energy that I'm getting with the Four of Wands coupled with the Ace of Pentacles, entering into a season where you are able to create space for your well-being. Okay, that's what it feels like to me. For your well-being. The Ace of Pentacles to the Four of Wands. That's the energy I'm feeling dripping off of you right now. There's some new beginning you're entering into where this will be available. I feel like you're going to be minimizing everything that's not relevant to your well-being, to your healing. It's going to become second nature. It's going to become priority, second priority to what is important to your wholeness, to your well-being, to your stability. Okay. That's where you are right now. This new beginning. And then I do also have the Seven of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands in this deck shows two people grabbing hold to a wand. It's Two of Wands, which really talks about empowerment. But the energy of this in the middle, what they're holding on to is actually the old ancient symbol for medicine. It's a staff with two snakes slithering up the staff with wings at the top, which is the symbol for healing. It's the symbol for medicine. You will sometimes see this on ambulance and in hospitals, the symbol of medicine, healing. The Hippocratic Oath is coming up for me. But there's something here about the Seven of Cups. Moving carefully right now. Making sure that you're making the right choices. And then we have the Ace of Wands as well. There's a palm with an eye in the middle of the palm. The Ace of Wands is also a new beginning. So there's something very new. Either you've already stepped into this portal or you're about to. But there's something about moving carefully, choosing wisely. The twos are all about choices. Two of Wands is empowerment. Like you hold power within your environment, or you will, to create what it will be. The Seven of Cups really talks about choosing wisely, choosing carefully. Just because it's an option does not mean that it's the right choice, right? The Seven of Cups causes us to dive deep, to look at what is underlying those options. Everything that glitters is not gold, let me tell you. It's fool's gold is what it is. And so I feel like your environment may provide lots of opportunities, but there's something about being wise in your choosing, being wise in your moving, having intention, right? There's some work, some soul work that is required here. You're entering into a new space that's going to require for you to be equipped and very discerning, okay? Very discerning. Look at the eye. This is a spiritual eye, not the physical eye. The spiritual one. Ooh, the spiritual one. It's the spiritual eye. Okay. What else? I hear somebody asking right now, what is that? What do you mean the spiritual eye? Basically tapping into your sixth sense, right? We have our five senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, the five basic senses. There are senses beyond that taps us into our consciousness. For instance, when you get that weird, for me, it's like a weird sixth sense in the pit of my belly that lets me know to be on guard. It might indicate that I'm not in a safe environment, or I'm not around people or places where I should let my guard down, right? It's listening to that discernment and being aware, right? For some people, it could be the ringing in your ear, right? That might be messaging coming through. It's a distinction between the left ear and the right ear, depending on where that information is coming from, right? And these are just a couple that are very general and common. These discerning signs can happen any kind of way. For some people, they take on feelings from other people, right? Some people may very well get pains in their body because they are tapping into someone else's pain. That is their gift, right? And so when we talk about the spiritual eye, we're talking about tapping in to the spirit realm. However you do that, you may do that in your own way. Maybe you don't even realize you're doing it, but to acknowledge that and to pay attention to that is what we're talking about when we talk about the spiritual eye. Okay, seeing. And so the portal of light and the pillar of light are examples of that, being able to transcend time and space and enter into a conscious awareness of what's happening within you, right? We're talking about the light passing through your light body, equipping you for heavy loads of healing within yourself and to share with others, okay? All right, and I have the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Wands. This is an opportunity to, I feel like this is talking about allowing yourself to sit down the burdens of the world. Some of us carry the world on our shoulders. Why? I don't know. There was a time where I did too. I felt a calling in many ways, kind of like to be the savior. None of us have been called to do that, first of all. But there's something about sitting down the weight of the world. The wheel is turning in a way where you're entering into a season where Spirit is saying tables will turn towards you. You don't have to move. The tables will shift towards you. And in that shifting, you will be able to release burdens that you've been carrying. No longer will you be required. No longer will you need to require yourself to carry the weight of the world. This could be heart energy, you being burdened in your heart. There's a release that's about to happen. There are things that you feel obligated to do that you are about to be released from. You will have an opportunity to sit those things down, okay? Yeah. There's something, the Knight of Pentacles is a very dreary card in this deck. There's a woman that she's passing through a wasteland. I feel like there are things that are about to become very clear. There are things that you didn't see in their reality that you are about to see very clear. And in seeing those things very clear, you'll no longer feed them. It might be people. She's passing through a wasteland, and it's almost like there was a war that happened, and all that's left behind is the casualties of war. And she's passing through. She has a crow on her shoulder, passing through the valley of the shadow of death. That's what I'm getting. But again, you may be the one bringing light to dead spaces through your own healing. I feel like Spirit is saying that you're already doing this. You're already doing this for whoever you are. But there's something about you opening up, as we were looking at the oracle energies, to more capacity to do that. Like Spirit wants to move more, do more through you than you've been doing. Maybe you've been aware of it, but haven't really took action, right? There's something that about you opening up more. This is a long message. Three of Swords. Yeah. I can't show this full picture, but it's a woman who is almost like either being sacrificed or sacrificing herself. They're in the woods. She's standing next to a man, and it's almost like she's turning into a tree. The Three of Swords many times can be about disappointment. It can be about heartbreak. It can be about maybe no longer sacrificing yourself, no longer setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. I feel like that's the message coming through. You're no longer doing this. You're no longer standing still, waiting for others to catch up, right? That's no longer going to be your reality here. That's what this message is about. You are being called to be a certain light in your spaces, okay? That may require for you to make sacrifices or to change certain ways that you have learned to operate. Maybe you are used to being, minimizing yourself so that you can be palatable for others and so that others can keep up with you. You've held yourself back, or you've passed up opportunities of growth just to stay comfortable and to stay with, within environments or groups that help keep you comfortable, but I feel like that's no longer going to get it, right? Spirit is saying that's no longer going to do. Like, you're being called to a higher level of capacity to operate. Okay. I almost feel like Spirit is saying the world needs you to step out of your comfort zone. Shortly in the future to come, we have the Ten of Cups, right? When you decide to step out and address this calling, there's lots of satisfaction, I'm going to say. They're standing in a wheat field, which in terms of this deck, that could mean lots of provision, never having to worry, right? And there's two people in the field. It feels like they're being brought together and acknowledged. Like, there's a lot of provision, not only provision, but also accompaniment. It's almost like all of your needs will be met and filled and addressed and acknowledged. The Ten of Cups is a completion of fulfillment in the future coming towards you. The Ten of Cups. That's a good card to have. You've already earned it. The Two of Pentacles in the past shows you doing the work. I almost feel like there's like a performance here. Doing the work, showing what you're made of, showing what you can do. The Two of Cups is very busy, maybe even overly busy, doing more. I feel like you've done more than your share, is what Spirit is saying here. You are being seen as the Page. Is this the Page or the Knight of Wands? The Page or the Knight of Wands. And it's almost like this. I'm trying to remember the name. Sphinx is giving life. There's electricity flowing out of the mouth of the Sphinx, giving life to the man on the floor. You're being seen as someone who is able to resurrect. There's something that you are able to give, breathe life into people. There's something that you do that's very effective. I don't know if you know it, This is how you're being seen right now. Somebody very powerful, not the normal, somebody that holds something very valuable. Do you know what you're capable of? That's the question that's coming up. This is how you're being seen. Maybe you do something and you don't know how effective that is, or how it's affecting people on the other side of what it is that you do. That's what's coming out. Now, where you are right now in the immediate future, that means this is happening right now or is about to happen right now. There's no time and space between this. We have the Two of Cups, which is about partnerships. In this Two of Cups, there is like a man or a being that's offering this woman a wing. It's like an angelic being, and it's offering the woman one of its wings, and she's like, no, don't do that. Don't sacrifice for me. Right? There's something about a gesture that's being given, and the Hanged Man also. So there's some offering, I feel like, or some soul connection, soul level connection that maybe is very relevant right now. This may be being stalled or being put off. Maybe it may not be happening. Okay. The Hangman says that it may not be happening at the moment, or there's something that's stalling this or blocking this right now. This is at a standstill. There may be a desire for someone to offer some gesture. There's some desire to manifest here. With the Magician, a new life, a new experience. Someone's wanting to manifest. The snake gives me the idea of it's wrapped around her body, but snakes represent renewal, right? You know how they shed their skin? I feel like someone is wanting to manifest a new life. They no longer want to live in the body that they're in. They want a whole new experience. And then we end with the High Priestess coming to full understanding of who you are. That's what this message is about. High Priestess, trusting yourself, seeing yourself in all. And it's almost like this is you here, and this is your higher self. This is the true you, right? This is your spiritual body. You understanding the reality of who you are. Trusting that, guarding that. And what you don't see is that this is very much happening through the changes that are taking place. I feel like this is that energy of restoration, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. There's changes that are taking place. There may be some very things that you may need to let go of in order for this change to come in. Why are you being seen as the Sphinx? I think this is the Knight of Wands. Or it could, let me see which one this is. Is this the Knight of Wands or the Page of Wands? This deck doesn't make it really clear. So it's the Knight of Wands, the Sphinx. Okay. So why are you being viewed as the Knight of Wands? The Sphinx giving life to this dead man. Queen of Wands comes out. The King of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. There's something about you working towards this. And it may be coupled with, this may be tied to someone else. There's some level of commitment of working towards this. You're being seen as working towards this. And I almost feel like it's the energy of healing work. And you've been working alongside possibly someone else, the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups, with the Seven of Pentacles in the middle, very slowly but surely, maybe taking small steps towards this, maybe even starting to see this coming to fruition, or to see how this is turning out. So something about someone being called. You are a light. As you notice, I said a light, not the light. You are a light. Spirit is using you, wants to use you in a greater capacity. That's what this message is saying. And I do get a strong inclination that you already know this. And this calling is for you to open up more. More is available. More can happen, right? If you're willing to open up and allow it. Okay. That's the message for today. I love this. For whoever you are, thank you. We need more healing. We need more healers. We need people that are willing to be open to more non-traditional ways of healing. Part of this is stepping outside of time and space with a portal of light and the pillar of light. We're not talking about just practical things, traditional things. This is really tapping into the limitless potential that's available to us if we're open to it. We are limited because we are in these bodies, but when we open ourselves to allow spirit to pass through us, we're tapping into that divine genius, right? Anything can happen. When we begin to co-create with spirit, then anything becomes possible. We become limitless through our co-creation with spirit. Okay. That's the message. Thank you for stopping by. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led, and we will see you next time. Bye.